All right. Thank you very much. So let's get into the on-demand gig economy. I'm going to go through this quickly. I'm going to cover a lot of ground, as I said. So let me start here. We are recording so that we can get the word out to a lot more people than those who are able to attend today. We're going to send this off to meetups. Plus, we're going to take this recording and we're going to put it into our Facebook group and make it available to everybody who's here for free. The reason being is it's an entire economic change. And that's not just me talking. Just go on, Google it, and you will see for yourself what academia is saying, what mainstream media is saying, virtually what everybody's saying. And it is a global change. Just read a article about the on-demand gig economy in the UK and Brexit and how that's affecting everything. So first I want to introduce Chuck Yeager, who is a member of our on-demand gig economy dream team, and I call it that because we are here to help people achieve their own dreams, even though we have a group of experts who really are very knowledgeable about this, but really it's all about, the people that we're able to help. The title of today's presentation is Who Moved My Workplace? For about the last 5 years, I have been, working with entrepreneurs. My background was I was a documentary director with NBC in New York. When I went to CNN doing a show called Keys to Success, so I could interview the most successful entrepreneurs in America about how they became successful. I spent years and years doing that. And over the last 5 years, I keep hearing how difficult marketing and getting new businesses from entrepreneurs. And I hear a lot of confusion. That's what we're going to kind of address today, is what that change is all about and who did move my marketplace and where did it go. I want to tell you a short story first, just to try and simplify things a little bit. The answer is it's the on-demand gig economy. So here's the short story. Okay, imagine a business person who's been in business for quite a while. Let's say they take their bag presentation and they go off to a town nearby, and they come up to a shop that they've called on many times over the years before. They go up to the door and they try to open the door, and they rattle it. That's odd. Door's not opening. It seems to be stuck. Maybe there's somebody in there, and they just don't know that the door's still locked. So they start pounding on the door, rattling the door, and nobody comes. So step back, check their watch and time, and think, geez, should be open. What's going on here? They feel a little out of sync. They're not quite sure what's happening. And then they step back from the door a little bit, take a little wider look, and they see a little sign next to the door. And that sign says, "We've moved across the street. We've moved." So they turn around, see a brand new place, bustling, walk across the street to the new place, open the front door, business is going on. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more like Costco, where they have the independent people demonstrating different food or letting you taste things. It's bustling. So all of a sudden, feel a lot more comfortable, but you have to make the transition. This is not, even though it's across the street, very similar, it's different. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is a little bit about the things that are similar and what the changes are. I have been helping people for years to transition. What we are telling people is that while that's obviously important, but today you can make a better transition if you're able to make a transformation to what is happening in the marketplace. So what we have here is a way to transform to the on-demand gig economy, to work full-time, doing what you love in 3 simple steps. So on the left, we have those 3 simple steps. On the right, we have the options, because everybody's different. So we want to help you to be able to find the best way to cover those 3 simple steps that make sense to you. Number 1 is the new gig marketplace's awareness. That's why you're here. You're gaining awareness about the new on-demand gig economy. So that's great. There's going to be many ways to gain awareness, such as our Facebook group, marketplaces, news and updates, peer-to-peer gig networking, gig coaching and mentoring. So those are some options, and we're going to get into more depth on these quickly, though. Number 2, digital branding. What is that? We got a lot of questions from the last meeting that we did was saying, what's personal branding? What's digital branding? What does that mean for the gig marketplaces? And there, just like at Costco, if you're independent, you're doing a demonstration, you need a presentation, okay? So we're going to talk about that. And number 3, gig marketplaces. What's cool about these are not barriers of entry. These are enormous new opportunities of entry if you have the right exposure and outreach. And really, having 25 years in the TV infomercial industry, I have to tell you that the gig marketplaces today, if you're smart, savvy, and think out of the box a little bit, if you look at them as what they can be, which is like cable TV networks that can carry your own infomercial about you and your gig and your presentation. I'll get into that a little bit more and answer any questions. So I'm trying to make this fun, okay? What I want to do, I'm trying to bring both sides of our brain. I don't want this to be death by PowerPoint, because this is really a course. I don't want to just do a boring old PowerPoint, but as there's no dry erase board here, so I did it digitally, okay? Sometimes you have to add in a little creativity to be able to cover some ground. I drew it up here. This is kind of what I'm going to talk about, and these two things are the same presentation, but they're just different ways of looking at it. At the end, for everybody who can stick around, I'm going to talk about 3 big giveaways that we're giving to people for our own Facebook.com gig marketplaces grand opening. There you'll be able to learn about 3 amazing gig economy drawings, the giveaways that we're going to have planned. You can learn how to use your own online education course. I mentioned presentations. That's one of the options, is to have a course that talks about you. Let's say you're a coach, a life coach, business coach. Well, imagine having a presentation, which could be a YouTube video, could be an audio, could be graphics, whatever, that people today want a free or low-cost way to test drive a product or service before they buy. So that's one. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a drawing or a contest of some sort to learn how to sell your own online education course in the on-demand gig economy marketplaces before you even produce it. That's a key, okay? And then finally, we're going to have drawings, my background in media, so we have the right connections that we can have drawings to help people achieve as featured on status of NBC, ABC, CBS for their course or their marketplace presentation. Now, let's get into what this is all about. Number 1, the 3 steps to getting into the on-demand gig economy. Step number 1, marketplaces awareness. So in other words, you really need to learn a little education and get squared away on what these are. Confused? No, Mike, that's not confusing at all. Of course it is. I get that. So now we're going to try and break it down, because sure, it's confusing, but if you can eat an elephant if you do it one step at a time. So let's drill down to what I have in mind here, because really I wanted to start the focus on you, okay? So how do you transform from where you are today into the gig economy? Number 1, what's your niche? I don't know what your niche is, so you have to think about it or tell somebody or ask, and that's one of the keys to our Facebook group, is how you can get peer-to-peer feedback on your niche and finding it. I'm going to explain that in more detail. Now, the next thing you want to do is transform your niche into a gig presentation. We're going to explain that in a minute. Fit it into a gig. Then, once you have that, fit your gig into a presentation. You're a beekeeper. That needs a presentation. Pictures, story, why, what do you do? That's fun. That's great. Now you go from having a knowledge or an expertise or a service into a gig. Now you fit your presentation about your beekeeping gig into the gig marketplaces to make sales and earn money. So these are the steps that we're going to get into. Step number 1, let's focus on you and everybody who's in here. Okay, first of all, this is your life, okay? You have a unique life. You have family, you have friends, you have a job, you have experience. Now we want you to have a gig. So these are the things that are up here in your brain nobody knows about, at least not like you. You might be thinking right now, I know I have a lot of knowledge, I have experience about bees, and I have skills and talent, and I can offer a gig. Okay, that's good news. Now, that's great, But what if nobody knows about it? What good does it do up here behind, 7 centimeters of skull? If nobody knows about it, it's just locked, it's hidden away. So we got to turn it into a presentation, get it out to the world, and there's cool marketplaces to help you do it. So that's why we're here to help you to gain marketplaces awareness about this stuff. Because you will not be paid for your gig, whatever it is, or your skills, talent, or knowledge, if nobody knows about it but you. Can we all agree on that? So let's start your transformation to earning with your expertise. How can you take what you already know, what your experience is, and let's bring it to life. So let's bring new life to your thinking, okay? Here it is. So now all of a sudden we go from boring over here to more presentation. Same thing, but a little more animation to it. This is the difference between an idea and a presentation. Now, this is the beginning of a presentation, but that's kind of the idea. So you need packaging into a presentation to promote your offer. And I'm going so fast only because I know this is digital. I can send it to you. You can play it to your heart's content. Stop, pause, think about it. Email me questions, whatever you want to do. Number 2, digital branding, specifically for gig marketplaces and audio video presentations, okay? Then step 2, focus on your presentation. So here's the middle of my crazy notes up there, and we're going to try and make them more presentable. First we'll focus on them, and then we'll make them a little more presentable for a presentation. Digital branding presentations of your gig. First you have to determine your niche. Then you have to digitize your presentation, your story about it, make it an audio video, and then you post your presentation in the gig marketplaces. We are all about, because it is so big, that Chuck and I are all about how to simplify presentations of your gig. Could be an audiobook interview, could be a YouTube video, could be an online course or info product. So there's lots of ways to tell the world about what's in your brain, to get it out to the world, and to start to generate revenues with it. Who is the on-demand gig economy for? Who can benefit from it? Entrepreneurs, corporations like Chuck, marketing vice president of a $2 billion corporation, product corporation, routinely hired people from the on-demand gig economy, paying jobs that paid as much as $150,000. So this is not just little gigs, but this is serious work and serious earning. A friend of mine once taught me about media. It's as broad as life. Media is a hollow tube. It's about what you make of it. So is the on-demand gig economy. It's literally as broad as life itself with creativity. It's good for life coaches, consultants, computer programmers, speakers, authors, writers, retailers, inventors, startups, retirees, semi-retirees, anybody who wants to get back to work, whatever, experts, workers, service providers of all kinds. We're going to learn more about one of the most creative of all of these, and that's Fiverr, so we're going to talk about that. Great opportunities there with Fiverr. But basically, whatever your expertise, talent, or skill, there are gig marketplaces for your particular presentation in this new economy. There's great news. Now, let's go back to this lady. This is her before her formal presentation. But let's say she's thinking, I have expertise in the beauty industry or the beekeeping industry. I'd make a great life coach, or I could create a great course about it. One of those things. Now here she is. Notice this little we're branding her. We're cleaning her act up a little bit. So here's the after picture for a branding presentation. I'm really trying to drive home a big question. People did not understand what branding is. So it's really telling your story. It's about making your offer more attractive. What's unique about you? Why would people want to hire you? And it might be your product is branding your product for the on-demand gig economy. Personal or product branding is about presenting what makes you different, among other things. You need packaging and marketing to promote your offer in the gig marketplaces. Now notice at the bottom that word marketplaces. What are marketplaces? They're places where people sell things. They're places where money is exchanged. It is a marketplace. That's the difference. It's not just sending a resume off to a corporation It's about creating a presentation, entering the marketplace, and presenting why you should get work there. Here's one of the cool things that I love about digitized branding presentations. Once you capture yourself and digitize your presentation, you never have a bad hair day, you never have a bad day, because you've always got that perfect presentation. You're putting your best foot forward every single time, no matter how you're feeling or thinking. You could be totally depressed, but your presentation is out there working its butt off, doing the best job that it possibly can for you. So that's a real benefit. I know I'm buzzing through this. We're going to get to your questions. We're going to turn it over to you, and we're going to have you guys each tell us a little bit about you. But we wanted to do this first so that we could have you tell us in the context of the new on-demand gig economy. Then we can give you feedback. Now, here are just a handful of some of the on-demand gig economy. Of course, our friends Fiverr. Fiverr is one of the grandfathers of the whole thing, one of the creative drivers of the whole on-demand gig economy. So they're worldwide, millions of users, and we're lucky enough to have Fiverr right here with us, and we're going to learn more about how you can benefit from that. Gig marketplaces, exposure and outreach. So there we have audio video presentations, money changing hand to a place to present to the prospect and turn them into buyers through a presentation or a digital vehicle. What we're here for is this is one part of the new approach that Fiverr is doing. Graham was a community builder for the Obama campaign, and we know that that was very, very successful. So now he is here, and he's going to talk about how he is starting a whole new community, because everything's about community today. I've been in incumbent media forever, and they're always saying, well, learn more, see that story on our website. It's all about building a community online. Everything is, and that's what Graham is expert at, among other things. So Fiverr is here. So we have Fiverr down there. That's one of the places that you can post it. I've been using Fiverr for years. I posted a little documentary about crowdfunding on there, and I would send people to it. They'd buy it. They'd learn about me, and then they would hire me to be their coach about how to get into crowdfunding as a business coach. And now we bring the prospect alive. You can see that she's there looking at one of the marketplaces. Now she's checking out other marketplaces for people who are offering gigs. She's got questions. She wants to learn more, and that's where the money goes. So if she buys on her phone there, the money goes there, and then it goes off to you. So now let me invite you all to join us in our new Facebook community called Gig Marketplaces. We're all here to answer your questions, bring you in. And then once you have a presentation, once your presentation is done, we want you to post it right there in our Facebook group. This is about community. It's not about us. It's about all of us. So when you post it there, gee, I have 10 questions about honey, or local honey, I have asthma or whatever, right? And so you can get feedback. Maybe you didn't cover that as well as they want. So I didn't cover in our last meeting as much as I wanted to about what is personal branding. So now I can go back and recover it. So that's part of what I'm trying to do here. Learn how to use online courses. These are really cool because this is a great way to turn your marketing into a profit center. So instead of just paying for marketing, I spent about $3,000 a month for 15 years on USA Today ads for my marketing, but that was an expense, And so now to have my marketing be turned into a profit center is pretty amazing. So we're going to teach you more about that. And like I promised, we're going to teach you through a boot camp series how to sell your own online education course in the marketplace before you produce it. You got to love that. And then, like I said, for people who get involved in, and you're going to talk a little bit about community leaders and everything. We're all raring to go, as you can see. I'm so stoked. After so many years of struggling with my own clients, I feel like, hallelujah, finally, I really feel like I found the promised land. Now, it's not perfect. It's not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that. But I am saying it's exciting because there's many opportunities. People are happy when they're learning something new. So here's the summary. All of this is brought from the 3 steps and the options into one place, and that is all available for free in our Facebook group. And also we'll have more information probably sent over to the LinkedIn group of Sing in LinkedIn. Here's my little summary there about getting you into the on-demand gig economy in our Facebook group. And now, yay, it's the on-demand gig economy. So it goes from a problem to an opportunity, right? Thank you.
How many of you are here because you want to learn how to like sell services? That seems like everybody. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. And then how many of you are here because you also want to like learn about buying services on Fiverr? Cool. I will say most of our top sellers, like once you get to a certain point, will learn how to like, they'll pick up full packages like or full projects, and then the stuff they don't want to do, they'll just task out, and they'll have a profit margin on the services by knowing how to use Fiverr. They can just make money by like managing the project itself.